Joining us now to discuss is Amber Athey, Washington editor at The Spectator and host of the Unfit to Print podcast. Amber, great to see you. So first off, what do you think it will take to get our economy back on track and lower inflation? As we heard from Eric, the Democrats think an updated version of the Build Back Better bill will help. Your thoughts?
It doesn't really make sense to me to dump more money onto an economy that is already suffering from massive inflation when there are so many other ways that the Biden administration could help fix this economic crisis. First of all, on the issue of gas prices, the Biden administration should absolutely be encouraging domestic oil production. And instead, they've been repeatedly focusing on demonizing fossil fuels and trying to pivot to an entirely green economy when the country is nowhere near ready to make that kind of transition economically. And then you also have shortages across the country because the Biden administration still has not addressed these supply chain issues that are leaving goods off of the coast of California or stuck down in Florida because there's a shortage of truck drivers to bring the goods across the country. And so until some of those issues are fixed, dumping more money on the issue is a great way to actually increase inflation and encourage many of the problems that we're seeing across our economy.
Yeah, also some new poll numbers were released today from Rasmussen showing only 23% of likely voters think that America is on the right track. What's your reaction to those numbers? What do you think?
Well, I find it not surprising at all, again, given all of the economic issues from gas prices to supply chain issues to inflation. And then also in terms of some of the other promises that Biden has made, he promised to unify this country, but things feel more divisive than ever. He is constantly talking about his political opponents as if they are domestic terrorists, as if they have some sort of evilness to them, and he refuses to try to come up with bipartisan solutions for some of the issues facing our country. I mean, just recently, his response to some of these mass shootings was to go in on more aggressive gun control than we've seen in a long time from Democrats, including something as silly as banning 9mm caliber handguns. So that's not the direction that Americans want to see the country go.
Yeah, another thing I want to touch on, as you know, we just reported for Owen Jensen that President Biden is out in Los Angeles for the Summit of the Americas. And one of the things they will be discussing is migration. Your thoughts on that as several thousand migrants are making their way to the U.S. border, hoping to coincide with the summit?
Yeah, this is really bad news that Mexico is not going to be at the summit. Under the Trump administration, one of the biggest successes in terms of the southern border was the agreement that he was able to make with Mexico for them to ramp up security on their side of the border and also institute that Remain in Mexico policy, where migrants who were seeking asylum fraudulently would have to be sent to Mexico to wait for courts to adjudicate their claims. And that eliminated a major pull factor for illegal immigrants who were previously being caught and then released into the United States. And the Biden administration has abandoned much of that agreement. The courts have forced them to keep the Remain in Mexico policy, but otherwise they should be negotiating heavily with Mexico to try to tamp down on the wave of Central American migrants that are coming across the border and are leading to record high levels of illegal immigrants coming across our border.
Amber, we have probably about a minute or so left, but I'm curious what else you are following right now.
I've been following Ilya Shapiro. He actually just resigned from Georgetown University, even after he was cleared from an investigation into a tweet where he suggested that Biden had not nominated the most qualified Supreme Court justice in Ketanji Brown Jackson. He was accused of racism and sexism for that tweet. And even though he was cleared in the investigation, he said, I don't think that I can teach in a manner that's consistent with free speech at Georgetown, so I'm going to take my talents elsewhere.
All right, Amber, we're going to leave it right there. Thank you so much for your time and analysis today. We always appreciate it.
Thank you.